Halo Infinite's winter update is live, and after playing last night, it does bring with it some pretty cool changes. There are some unannounced changes here too that are great. However, there is a major issue that is going to be a sticking point, I think, for a lot of players, myself included, and we'll cover that in today's video. Last night I played about 15 games, was really trying to get matches on Argyle and Detachment. These are the two new maps that came with the winter update. They are Forge maps, and unfortunately Argyle is not actually available right now in matchmaking. It's still, an option in customs and in Forge, but it was causing player crashes, and as such, about 12 hours ago, Halo support disabled the map, and they are going to bring it back online once they can troubleshoot some of those crashing issues. Been hearing reports in my Discord and from other players as well that crashes seem to be a little bit more frequent. Maybe this new build isn't super stable just yet. However, out of those 15 games I did play, I got to try Argyle twice, and I got to try Detachment once. Argyle was really fun. I like the flow of that map. You have a sniper rifle accessible right off the spawn. It seems like a quick-paced, symmetrical style map, but again, that's two matches, so you can't look too much into it. Detachment, on the other hand, I really feel like could be a 5v5 or a 6v6 style map. Didn't mind it, but only have a short amount of experience on it. I want to add here, the balance updates they did are immediately noticeable. Don't sleep on the Commando rifle. It feels amazing after the buff. It is more sustainable in terms of trying to finish off kills. Like, you can definitely depend on it more to finish off kills effectively. And I don't know if they're going to have to ring this one back in because it feels very strong. At least on mouse and keyboard, Commando felt great. The battle rifle, Nerf, I think has put it in a little bit nicer of a spot. It doesn't feel quite as laser beam cross map as it used to be. And overall, I feel like the balance changes that they've put into motion have been fairly solid so far. Time will tell, what sticks around. It's very noticeable, the frag grenade timer shift. Like, it is very, very noticeable right off the bat. So after a few weeks of playing this, we're going to have to see what sticks and what lands. But Commando, yeah, it's pretty great. Now, on the good side of this update, performance has improved. At least for me, on a 1080 Ti build that's a few years old, it's got a 6700 for the CPU. I was rarely on 4v4 maps on low with resolution scaling as low as possible, holding 120 FPS consistently. I was able to hold it and bring resolution scaling back up to 2560 by 1440, like my native resolution, and hold 120 really well. So they have done some PC optimizations. I haven't tried BTB. I don't know how it plays there, but that was nice. And honestly, that change alone made mouse and keyboard feel a little bit better. We know there are some more mouse and keyboard updates coming down the road, but this was the first time playing where I was like noticeably not having huge drops when I'm trying to slowly and smoothly move my mouse across the screen. And that was nice. That was really nice right there. Also, the new Match XP beta, it feels good. Honestly, just playing the game, getting a reward for playing a match or winning a match, and then getting your battle pass progression without having to jump through the hoops of the challenge system. It took a long time, and this is obviously a very basic iteration of the system, but it's good, and it's fun, and it does keep you wanting to just queue up for yet another match within the playlist that you want to play with. Now, there was one major issue that I kept running into in my matches, and that was ping fluctuations, where I'd watch my ping go from 40 ms all the way up to 130, 150 ms, and this wasn't just a rare occasion. Out of the 15 games that I played, there were probably 4 that stayed at a stable 30 to 50 ms. Every other match would just bounce all over the place. You'd start at 30, and then you get into gunfights, and it'd be up to 130, 150. And that did not feel good. All of a sudden, you're shot behind walls. The consistency is gone. It feels like the old Xbox 360 days. It's not a good feeling, and I've never really run into something like that. I asked if you all were experiencing something similar, and Kev got back to me mentioning that, yeah, this has been going on since about July, where his ping will start at 60, drop to 30, and then up to 120, all in one game. And I had a few other folks also mention they're experiencing similar performance. So I have not played Infinite really since July, maybe a couple of times there, really just campaign for the most part. I've been living on MCC, waiting for the next update. But these weird ping fluctuations, if it was like 1 out of every 10 games, probably wouldn't mind it. But this is definitely a deal killer for me. Like, we'll have to see if this is an issue that goes away in the next few days. I'm going to keep playing it because really this was a very fun first day of the update. I enjoyed pushing through the battle pass, just playing without a care in the world. But as soon as those ping fluctuations come into the mix, it no longer really feels like the game is respecting your time because it's wonky, right? You're having to put up with something that you don't really experience that much in other FPS games. I mean, I've been playing Modern Warfare 2 a bunch and just haven't run into matches where halfway through it goes all bonkers and you're getting shot way behind walls. And that's a real big bummer because everything else feels quite solid so far with the winter update. I'm not a forger and I haven't tested out campaign network co-op, so those are two features that we'll have to see, what those communities think of them. But on the whole, balance changes seem kind of cool. It's nice to have a little bit of a freshening up in the sandbox. The performance improvements are huge, and mouse and keyboard feeling a little bit better are all motivating factors. I will say, so I started Infinite on a controller last year, and I played with that all the way through till Season 2. Then played a ton of Splitgate, went back to my home, which is mouse and keyboard. Played mouse and keyboard all summer long on MCC, and I really don't want to swap back to controller. Even though mouse and keyboard does feel better, man, it is so tough in Halo Infinite. I really do feel like, and I'm never one to like throw my hat in this ring for this discussion too much, but I do feel like mouse and keyboard is at a significant disadvantage, at least in tight 4v4 matches. You can play really well. I've seen some great mouse and keyboard players. I'm not one of them. I'm a struggle bus kind of player. So again, this is something I don't want to lean too heavily into, but I really do hope that they look at some of the numbers and see performance-wise how mouse and keyboard top players compare against top controller players. Don't change the whole design, but I will say I'm debating plugging the controller back in just because it feels so much more fun, and I hate to say it, like just easier on the controller side of things. That's not the winter update's fault. That's been around for a long time here. So let's just round the whole thing out. The 2 new maps seem pretty great. The performance updates are awesome. Match XP, I mean, a lot of the things we've been communicating from last November onward is great. I wish this update could have come out last January or February because you would probably see a whole different sentiment in place. On the whole, I think they landed a really cool update here, with the one major sticking point of that connectivity and, latency issue. That is a huge deal killer and something that will cause me to wait for some of those future updates. I know they've got a lot in the works for network stuff. They've talked about that on their blog post coming in December or in future updates whenever it's going to happen. But I really don't enjoy watching the ping spike all the way up to like 150 in matches and then drop back down. Even if it was like just stable 100 ms, you could start to sort of feel and predict it. But when it's going wild during gunfights, it's kind of crazy. If you're experiencing similar stuff, let me know about it down in the comments below. How are you liking the winter update so far? Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you again very soon.